back to my channel VIDHYA Biology Tutorials. Today we are going to learn the worksheet of the lesson nutrition and the topic is related to the digestive system. And today in this video we are going to learn about the different enzymes that are produced into the digestive system by the different types of the glands and as well as different types of the organs. Okay, and before going to the video, please do subscribe to my channel VIDHYA Biology Tutorials. If you don't want to miss any of the bit from this worksheet, please do watch the video till the end. Yeah, let's go to the topic. Here let us see the first bit. Dash are the finger-like projections present in the small intestine. So here we know that small intestine is very important part of the digestive system. And here in the small intestine, maximum absorption of the food takes place in the small intestine. And what is the main reason for that absorption of the food? Means here in the small intestine, finger-like projections are present in the small intestine, and that finger-like projections are called as villi. The function of the villi is to increase the surface area of the absorption. So if the surface area of the absorption is increased, automatically more amount of the substances can be absorbed in the small intestine. So the finger-like projections that are present in the small intestine are called as villi. Yeah, let's go to the second bit. The passage of the undigested food out of the body is called as, the answer is digestion. So regarding this topic, already in the previous video we have discussed the bit, that is the what are the different steps in the holozoic nutrition we have discussed. In that last step is digestion. Digestion means nothing but sending out of the waste or undigested food from the body is called as digestion. Next, go to the second and third bit. Dash is the digestive juice without enzyme. This is a very important bit. Bile juice is the digestive juice without enzyme. So who will produce the bile juice? The liver will produce the bile juice. What is the function of the bile juice? Emulsification of fats will be done by the bile juice. What is emulsification of fats? Nothing but breakdown of the complex of fat molecules into simple fatty acids into simple globule-like structures is called as emulsification. So that emulsification will be done by the bile juice, which is secreted by the liver. Okay, so the answer is bile juice. Next, let's go to the matching here. Here left side they have given the organs and the right side enzymes were given. Let us see. Let us match the things. First one is the pancreas, liver, salivary glands. These all three are glands only. Pancreas is also a gland, but it is a mixed gland. The liver is also a gland. Largest gland in the body is the liver, and salivary glands. So these glands secretes different types of the enzymes. What are those? Let us see. First, pancreas. It will be secreting the enzyme called as trypsin, okay, which is important for the digestion of the peptones. Next, liver. It secretes the bile juice. So just before we have discussed it regarding this bit. Next, salivary glands. It will secrete the ptyalin or salivary amylase. So this is the matching BCA. So different glands secretes different types of the enzymes or different types of the juices, and we have done the matching. So BCA is the answer. Pancreas secretes the trypsin, liver secretes the bile juice, and the salivary gland secretes the ptyalin. Let's go to the next bit. Pepsin acts on proteins to form. So clearly in the table, if you observe the textbook, clearly in the table it is given that the pepsin will be acting on the proteins to form the peptones. So the peptones will be formed. The pepsin acts on the proteins to form the peptones. Next, go to the next question. Where does the absorption of the digestive food takes place? Already I said that the absorption of the digestive food takes place in the small intestine. Where does it takes place? It takes place in the small intestine. First step is ingestion. Ingestion means taking the food through the mouth is called as the ingestion. Digestion happens in the stomach with the help of different types of the juices. But in the stomach, the food material will be in an acidic condition. But when from it goes to the stomach to the small intestine, it changes to alkaline condition. And their maximum absorption of the food takes place in the small intestine. So here absorption of the digestive food takes place in which part? Small intestine. Yeah, let's go to the next question. Name the vessels present around the villi as a network. So here what is a villi? First of all, you have to know. Villi is nothing but it is a finger-like projections that are present in the small intestine are called as villi. Here what is the question they are asking means, what are the vessels that are present around the villi? Blood vessels and lymph vessels are present around the villi as a network. So you know different types of the blood vessels and lymph vessels will be present around the villi as a network. So the answer is this one. Next question, what is absorbed in the large intestine? Here this bit can also be asked in some other form, that is digestion do not occurs in the large intestine. So the digestion stops only up to small intestine. The digestion do not occur in the large intestine. What happens is, after the absorption of the digestive food in the small intestine, the undigested food will be sent to the large intestine. So listen clearly. The undigested food from the small intestine enters into the large intestine. What is the function of the large intestine means, in that undigested food, if any water content is there, all that water will be absorbed by the large intestine. Okay, only the fecal matter or undigested food and unnecessary water, that only will be stored in the large, it will be from the large intestine, it goes to the rectum. Okay, that undigested food and the waste water will be going to the rectum, and the rectum stores that undigested food. Finally, through the process of egestion, it will be sent out through the anus. So here what will be absorbed in the large intestine means, the water that is present in the large intestine, the water that is present in the undigested food will be absorbed in the large intestine. Next question, name the enzyme secreted in the mouth. So before itself we have seen mouth means nothing but in the mouth or buccal cavity we are having the salivary glands. The salivary glands will secrete the enzyme called as ptyalin, or the other name of the ptyalin is salivary amylase. That will be secreted by the in the mouth by the salivary glands. So the answer is ptyalin. Next, which gland secretes most of the enzymes? Here pancreas is the gland that secretes most of the enzymes. Okay, pancreas secretes pepsin, it secretes trypsin, like that it will be secreting number of enzymes. So most part of the enzymes are secreted by the pancreas. Yeah, let's go to the next question, just hold on. Yeah, this is the next question. Into which part are most of the enzymes secreted? So into the duodenum. Duodenum acts as a connection between the stomach and the small intestine. So in the small duodenum, most of the enzymes are secreted into the duodenum, and the duodenum will be connected to the small intestine. The small intestine receives all the type of the secretions, and finally it changes the acidic food into alkaline food. So duodenum is the answer for this question. Next question, what is the name of the enzyme secreted by the largest gland? So first of all you have to know what is the largest gland in the body, then what is the enzyme that is secreted by the largest gland. The largest gland in our body is liver. The liver secretes the bile juice, but actually it's not an enzyme. Bile juice is not having any sort of the enzymes. So the only juice secreted by the liver which is not having enzymes is the bile juice, and liver is the largest gland in the body that secretes the bile juice for the process of emulsification of fats. Okay, next question, prepare a flowchart of human digestive system. So for this I'll show you a flowchart. Just wait for a second. Yeah, this is the flowchart if you observe. So first of all, flowchart means nothing but how do the process of digestion occurs. You have to show in the form of a chart. First of all, food. The food will be taken through the mouth. From the mouth, it enters into the buccal cavity, and from the buccal cavity, it enters into the pharynx. So here, pharynx is a common passage for the food and the air. Larynx is the voice box, and pharynx. So it is a common passage for food and air. And here you know in the pharynx there is a flap-like structure called as epiglottis that will prevent the entry of the food material while the air is passing through the pharynx. Okay, from the pharynx it enters into the esophagus, nothing but through the food pipe, and from the esophagus it enters into the cardiac stomach. First part of the stomach is called as cardiac stomach. You can see it clearly, pyloric has been striked out and cardiac is the answer. And from the cardiac stomach it enters into the pyloric stomach, so which is the second part of the stomach. and from there it enters into the duodenum. Already we have seen that into the duodenum most of the enzymes will be secreted, while because in the stomach the food will be in the acidic nature, and while going to the small intestine it changes to the alkaline nature, because in between the stomach and the small intestine there is an important organ called as duodenum, and this duodenum receives all the secretions, changing the acidic part of the food into alkaline part of the food. So from the duodenum it enters into the small intestine. Here near to the duodenum you can observe bile and pancreas you can observe. So liver will also be present and pancreas will also be present. So maximum secretions comes from the pancreas and the bile juice will be released by the liver. So from there the food material enters into the small intestine, where maximum absorption of the food material takes place in the small intestine. Then after the food has been digested completely, the undigested food moves into the large intestine. So there what happens in the large intestine means, in that undigested food if any water is present, that will be absorbed by the large intestine, and from that large intestine it will be that undigested food and unwanted water goes to the rectum, and it will be stored in the rectum. During the process of the digestion, this rectum passes the undigested food material to the anus, and the unwanted food material moves out of the body through the process of digestion. So here if you observe, first ingestion means we take the food through the mouth, it passes to the buccal cavity, it passes through the pharynx, from there it passes to the esophagus. Even in the esophagus also there is no digestion occurring. In the mouth some part of the food will be digested, that is 30% of the food will be digested in the mouth, and then if after the food going to the stomach 50% of the food will be digested, and that partially digested food is called as chyme. From the stomach it moves to the small intestine by receiving the secretions from the pancreas and the liver. Complete digestion of the food takes place in the small intestine. Along with the digestion, absorption of the food materials also takes place in the small intestine. Okay, then finally large intestine, water will be absorbed, and finally egestion starts from the large intestine, participates in the process of the digestion. It sends the undigested food material to the rectum, and finally digestion continues up to the anus. The waste material goes out of the body. So this is the flowchart for the digestive system. So I think we have discussed all the questions in this worksheet, and if you're having any doubt you can ask me through the comments. I'll surely answer to your questions. If you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.